She is English, but she's ours. She starred with Richard Burton in Othello and Peter O'Toole in Hamlet. She lives a quiet family life in North Carolina, but she is New York theater royalty. Welcome to Women in Theater. I'm Linda Weiner, theater critic and arts columnist of Newsday. And our guest is Rosemary Harris, who, after a dazzling career in classics and repertory, is now the prototype for some of the most fascinating of Edward Albee's Silver Fox women. I am so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Are you surprised now to be finding yourself considered the Albee woman?
I think so. It came as a surprise because I've only done one Albee play before, and
the first one was Delicate Balance in '96, and
yes.
Then All Over just this
Yes.
in summer 2000.
So, but when I met Edward over the years, and he was wanting to get a production on of Delicate Balance, and he was always saying to me, "We're going to do that one day." So at the back of my mind, I thought, well, maybe I will, and I was so pleased. And then the second one, of course, which I've just finished, All Over, that was a special treat.
All Over, where you play, it was a death watch from,
yes,
with you playing the ex-wife of the man who's dying, and Michael Learned as
Learned, the mistress.
The mistress, yes.
And the son and the daughter and the doctor and the best friend and the nurse. Mara Carter was the nurse, and of course she'd played in the original production.
It must, these lines, I mean, part of what's so wonderful about listening to Edward Albee's plays now, I say listening but also seeing, but just that there are characters who speak in paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
And I've read that you demand that you are word perfect before you go to the first rehearsal. You still doing that with Albee too?
Well, I wish. The wish is father to the thought, I'm afraid. I do find as I'm getting older that it is so much easier if you can learn it before rehearsals begin. When I was younger, I could wing it a bit more and just fly by the seat of my pants. But as you get older, the brain cells aren't quite as acute as they were. And I do feel I have to learn it earlier. And it's a great help because when you come to the rehearsal, you don't have that awful feeling of going home at night and swatting and thinking I can't go to bed until I've learnt this, because you already know it.
But doesn't the rest of the cast hate you?
I don't think so.
Here she is, the smarty in the class.
No, because I don't know it that well. I do think if you've got long speeches, I think it's only polite to learn them, because otherwise in rehearsal everyone's just sitting around waiting for you to get through somehow. But the shorter dialogue I don't learn, because then everyone else has their input and you have to fit in with them. But in any long speeches, and there were quite a few long speeches, as you may remember, in All Over, and I thought once I've got those under my belt, I'll feel much more secure.
Well, I hate to be naive about this, but learning the syntax just seems so difficult. And you have the playwright right there who's going to know if you change the phrasing.
Indeed, indeed.
Does it begin to have a Shakespearean rhythm? Can you get into the flow?
Yes,
or?
Yes. It's almost blank verse.
Yes?
Yes, it really is. It's T.S. Eliot wrote his plays in blank verse, The Cocktail Party and those plays, and there is a rhythm to them, and once you get the rhythm, it is a help. But also, Edward's logic is so wonderful, even though they're little short sentences. It's like threading beads on a string. You know, you get that thought and you put that on the string, and then you get that thought and that. And then gradually, I think I explained once that when you get all those thoughts, you've got a lovely necklace to wear. But I also made another analogy, was that first speech in A Delicate Balance, when poor Agnes starts off and there's no help from anyone. You know, I think George would say odd things like, "Would you like a brandy?" or something, and then she pays no attention, she just goes straight on. And that was like catching that tidal wave, especially as the curtain went up and then I had to start, and it was like catching the big one. And you just couldn't breathe. I mean, you had to breathe, of course, but you couldn't think until you sort of eventually landed on the shore. And you did, because Edward gets you there, but you've just got to keep going. You're just tumbling over in the waves.
Is it thrilling? It sounds addictive.
It is thrilling, it is. You feel quite exhilarated when you finish. It's like skiing downhill very fast, which I haven't done in many years.
I won't ask if you ever tripped down the hill. It's just,
tripped?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. I never did trip in that speech, actually, because I loved it so. And I just used to look forward to it every night. But the first time I did it, it was very frightening.
Has he talked to you at all about more plays, new plays? Both of these were revivals.
No, I don't know what he's working on now. I'm sure he is working on something. He never stops.
When you first came to America in 1952, why did you want to stay here?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. It was one of the highlights. I was going through my mind just yesterday what were the sort of highlights in my life, and I think the first one was when Moss Hart invited me to join the cast of The Climate of Eden, because I was a humble little understudy in not a very good play in London, and to be whisked away to Broadway, you know, and have this wonderful role. The play only lasted 2 weeks, but that didn't matter. I had my taste of how wonderful it was here. And I found an acceptance here that somehow I just never felt quite like that in England for some reason. I wasn't brought up in England.
Yes,
I think that had something to do with it. I was brought up in what is now Pakistan, and so I came back to England not really knowing much about it. And then I had to go back because the play closed, sadly. And 6 years later, when I was with the Old Vic, they came to the Winter Garden and they brought 3 plays, and one of them was Troilus and Cressida, and I was playing Cressida. And I thought, I'm here now, I'm never ever going to go back. You know, fate has dealt me this wonderful card that I am back here. And so when they all went back, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not leaving. And
You defected, huh?
I never have. I suppose
You ran for the embassy, did you?
That word wasn't used then, but I guess I did. I loved it here, and I always have.
When most of the work that you had done in England, and then also the early work that you did here with Phoenix, with APA Phoenix, and your then husband, Ellis Rabb, was Repertory.
Yes, a lot of it was.
And do you miss that?
Yes.
It must.
Yes.
Do you have any idea why Repertory never works in America? What's wrong with us?
I think it's just, the bottom line is it's just too expensive.
The bottom line is the bottom line,
yeah.
then.
And you've got to have somewhere to store the sets. Of course, the Lyceum was a perfect place because it was designed as a repertory theatre, and we could store the sets there. The times have changed. Our actors ready to commit for that length of time, because we all committed, you know, for at least a year or more, and I don't know that actors are prepared to do that now for not very much money. There wasn't a lot of money in it. And APA was unusual in as much that we also shared roles. We did different plays during the week, but we also shared a part. We didn't want to hog all the leading parts, so we sometimes shared them. For instance, in You Can't Take It With You, I think Patricia Connolly and I both shared Alice. I think I started off, but then Trish would go on and give me a night off, which was wonderful. At first you'd say, no, I don't want... that's right, we'd borrow each other's props and things, and at first you'd be rather protective about your little evening bag or your pair of shoes or something, but then when you realized that it was going to give you a night off, you'd say, no, do use my evening bag. Yes, of course, you're welcome to it. But it was unusual because our 3 names were put in the program, or our 2 names opposite the role, and the audience didn't have to be told who was going to play. So it was like shuffling a pack of cards, really, the way the cast sort of fitted in like that.
If that tradition had caught on, the theater in America and in New York certainly would be completely different now, don't you think?
Yes, it was a shame. It just didn't, you know, was it 6 years with T. Edward Hamilton and Ellis joined together and formed the APA Phoenix, which was wonderful. But I guess the time was not right, and I don't know that it'll ever come back.
Right.
It was right for that time, but I can't quite see it happening. I know Tony Randall sort of has tried to do it.
Sort of.
Sort of. Well, I think he's done, you know, as well as he's been able to, but I don't know that you get actors to commit themselves like that. It's a shame, because it was fun playing different roles, 3 different roles in a week. It kept you on your toes and kept you fresh.
People keep talking about national theater still, you know, if there were a national theater, and of course you were there with Olivier when the National Theater began.
Yes.
Is that an irrelevant dream now?
I don't think so. After all, I think didn't it take 300 years to get the British National Theatre going? There was a picture, I think, of I don't think it was John Gielgud, maybe it was Ken Tynan, but he was standing in mourning in a top hat and a black handkerchief, mourning that the National Theatre had never happened. And they kept moving the foundation stone. People kept laying a foundation stone. They thought, well, that's a beginning. And then they realized there was never going to be a theatre on top of it. So there were several attempts. I think George Bernard Shaw wanted a national theatre, and he never got it in his lifetime. So I think it did take 300 years. So I think we've still got some time. And I think there will be a hunger for it. And there will be enough really good, sound, solid actors who say, I want to commit to theatre for a year, and I will throw my hat in the ring, and I want to do these wonderful plays. And I don't care what movie comes along in the meantime, but I'm going to do this.
In many ways, I think that this country is geographically doomed in terms of that, because the actors have to choose. You have to split up your life between, do you want to be in New York or do you want to be in Hollywood?
Yes.
While in London, everybody, the industries, both industries, if you like, can call it an industries, are right there.
Yes.
And so you don't have to tear yourself apart.
No, that's true. And television is there, and radio is there, everything. I remember Paul Rogers coming into, I forget the play, it was a play at the Old Vic, and he rubbed his, it was Julius Caesar, and he said, well, I know it's Julius Caesar, but what's the medium? Because he'd got up early that morning, he'd filmed at Elstree, he'd rushed to the BBC to do a radio program, and then he'd done a little bit on television, and then he was coming in at night to play Brutus and Julius Caesar, and he'd done all four in one day.
What's the medium?
Yeah, well,
what's the medium? This is
I know
a
I'm playing Brutus, but what's the medium?
I like it.
And we are lucky. Of course, we don't have much of a film industry, sadly. Yeah. So nearly all actors are stage actors.
So when you say we, then, you think about yourself as...
I don't know. I'm completely schizophrenic. I was saying we because I was thinking of myself working in England, that there isn't much film industry for them, for us, whatever.
Whoever they are.
Whoever they are. But English actors are inclined to, I think it was somebody on television was being interviewed, and they'd just done a film, and they said, what are your future plans? And he said, oh, I think I'm going back to England to do some acting. Oops. Or I'm going back to acting. And he just made a major motion picture, so it was a sort of slip of the tongue. But I think on the whole, English actors still think of the theatre as the real thing. And they love doing films, but they are really they're gravy. Whereas I think it's the other way around here.
Right. You are in Spider-Man now, aren't you?
Oh, yes. And am I proud?
You're Aunt May in Spider-Woman, right?
Basking in reflected glory, because I have very little to do. But I'm thrilled because 6-year-olds come up to me and say, were you really Aunt May? And
are you a nice woman?
Yes, I am. Oh,
you know,
yes.
Fiona Shaw is somebody very bad in Harry Potter, so
yeah,
I think that must be bad.
No. I'm very nice.
You're a good
Aunt
woman.
May is a pillar. Yeah. She's a rock, especially as poor Peter Parker loses his Uncle Ben, who dies, and he's left with Aunt May. But no, she's a wonderful person. And when I was asked the part, I didn't even know there was an Aunt May, but now I realize she was a real person, so I was thrilled that, you know, she actually exists.
And are you sorry you didn't do more movies? Now, I know, of course, recently you've been in Sunshine in the same movie as your wonderful daughter, Jennifer Ely, who won the Tony Award in year 2000 for The Real Thing, for Tom Stopper's Real Thing, the same year that you also were up for a Tony Award. Yes. That must have been sort of fun.
Amazing. Yeah.
But anyway, in Sunshine, the two of you play the same character at different ages.
Yes, so we didn't actually work together. We overlapped a day or two when she would fly in.
You could wave every instant.
Yes, and we shared the same. No, it was another. We did a TV series together in England that Peter Hall directed. Yes, Chamomile Lawn, and in that we shared the same earrings and the same perfume because this character wore Jiki. Was it Jiki? Was her particular scent? So we both shared the same bottle of perfume. But I was saying that that films are wonderful, but you really do feel that, I think whatever medium you begin in is the one that you gravitate to more. And I think people who start in film, then they think, well, it'd be lovely to do some theatre, but I'll go back to film. Whereas I think in my life, And also, I don't know, I never felt I was pretty enough. I thought you have to have really very special looks. I knew I was no Audrey Hepburn or Elizabeth Taylor or something like that, and I thought, I think I'll hedge my bets, and I think the theatre's the place for me. I was offered a film contract when I first came over here in '52 by Jack Warner. In fact, he called me up personally on the telephone, because Edie Van Cleve was a wonderful agent in those days. And she said, he can't believe that you're turning him down, and he wants to hear it from your very own voice. So I remember standing in her office and saying, thank you, Mr. Warner, but I really think I'll decline. Because in those days it was a 7-year contract. And I knew if I went out to Hollywood, I would just sit by a swimming pool, probably for 7 years, and play little parts and not get on with my life. I just didn't feel I had that time to waste.
But how grown up for someone when you have that kind of seduction?
Yes. Well,
you've always insisted on having a life.
Yes, and I think young people are pretty sound about where they're going. I didn't know then where I was going, but I think I had an idea, a sort of increasing purpose of where I was heading, and somehow that didn't fit into my scenario. I just didn't think that that was for me. So, and whenever I did get offered a film in later years, I was usually doing theatre, so it was too late, because I was never first on the list. And by the time they got around to me, I was doing a play, so I didn't do much theatre. But now, I mean films, but now films do seem to pop up, and I love them. I really, it's like a whole new world, and I'm learning, and Jennifer, I go to her for advice, and I say, how should I do this? Yes. Because she's just taken to it like ducks to water, you know, it's no problem for her. She can do either so easily.
When you say what didn't fit into your plan, I mean, did you ever have a plan to live in North Carolina, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina? Tell me it's not a log cabin.
Yeah.
I keep hearing you live in a log cabin. Would you explain, please?
It is a log cabin, and it's a very important part of my life. I met John, my husband.
John Ely, novelist.
John Ely, the novelist, Jennifer's father. And we were match-made. We were introduced to each other by Bella Spiewak, who wrote a play called Boy Meets Girl, amongst other things. But she met John. John walked out of the living room, out of the elevator into her living room, and she said, are you married? And then she called me up and said, Rosie, the man you're going to marry has just walked into my living room. Come and meet him. And I did. And
did you know that? Did you say, oh, yes, she was right?
32 years ago. Yes, I did. We both knew right away. And then Sam said, well, how you had to interfere in people's lives like that? I mean, what made you do it? And she said, oh, it was very simple. It was just like casting a play. So it obviously has had a good long run, because we've now been married for 35 years, I think. Yes, 35. Wow. I keep saying 32, but it's 35. And one of the things, to get back to the log cabin, I had a week's holiday, because I was playing in Rep with APA, and I had a week's holiday, and John invited me down to stay with him in his little old house. He was living in a house that was built in 1768 that he was renting, and he met me at the airport, and we went back to the house to pick up some groceries and things, and I saw this photograph on his drawing board, and I said, where is that? That's the house I've dreamed of all my life. And he said, that's where I'm taking you tonight. So we got in the car, and we drove and drove and drove. We drove about 3 hours, and when we got there, it was pitch dark. So I had no idea where I had ended up. But the next morning, the birds were singing. Oh, it was pouring with rain when we got there. It was like the Belgian Congo. The rain was just coming down in sheets, and this was sort of this wooden shack. I didn't know where I was. And in the morning, the sun was shining and the birds were singing. And it is a log cabin. We don't really know, John doesn't really know how old it is, but it now has a historic plaque saying that it's the home of John Ely. And we think the oldest part of the cabin would be about 1850 or something like that. But there are 3 cabins sort of put together over the years. And then there's been additions as well. And one of the people who takes care of the cabin for us is a lovely big 6-foot black snake. Ooh. Who curls up in the rafters out of the house, not inside.
Have you named him?
Well, we haven't really. He's just our friend, and of course he can't be the same one. He must be generations and generations of them. But he
There's a plaque on him too, right?
There should be. We should put one up.
Now, your husband was a co-founder of the North Carolina School of the Arts.
Yes, he was.
And does he still teach there? And do you teach there? Or?
No, he never did teach there. That was not John's forte. John started schools. He was very good at beginning schools. He'd put them on the drawing board and set it all out, and then he'd walk away and leave other people to run it. And he started about 4 or 5 schools in North Carolina, the North Carolina School of the Arts, and I'm on the board of visitors for that, and very proud of it too. I think it's a wonderful school, and I owe it a lot because I met John through the school, because he was on a search committee when the first chancellor died. That's how he came to New York, so that's how we all got together. Jennifer actually attended the North Carolina School of the Arts as well. I'm on the board of visitors. I did do a production. I have directed there once. I call it redirecting because I did a production of The Royal Family, but completely copying Ellis Rabb's production. I have to give it all to him. I've forgotten what I was saying. I've gone around the garden.
Well, I think it was wonderful. It was log cabin stuff, so I'm happy. How much time then do you spend there as opposed to in New York?
It depends.
Yeah. And do you have a home in London also?
Yes,
yes.
I'm afraid so. Yes.
Can you remember where things are?
Yes, I'm very good at that, actually, yes. Even the groceries I can remember where we've got some fresh eggs and things. I've only very recently got a tiny little broom closet of an apartment in London, but I thought it was time. I'd always either stayed with my sisters before or rented and then had to move everything out, so now I do have a little tiny place.
Now, your sister was interested in theater before you were, yes? Well, okay, okay. Father in the British Air Force.
Yes.
And you grew up in
Pakistan. Well, what did we? I mean, I do hear the name occasionally on television. It was actually the Northwest frontier, and it was in the northern part of Pakistan, and it's the frontier between Afghanistan and.
And you had summer in Kashmir, which I hear used to be the most
beautiful
paradise, right? It was the most beautiful. It's a shame that they're fighting, but you understand what they're. That's terrible. So, but when you were growing up there, your sister was more interested in the theater?
Yes, she was 8 years older than me, and she always wanted to be an actress. I always wanted to be what she was, but slightly different. I remember her saying that when she was about 12 that she wanted to be a stage star. I mean, that dates us, doesn't it? I mean, nobody's a stage star anymore, as opposed to a film star. But anyway, she was going to be a stage star. And I thought, well, that sounds pretty good. I don't quite know what it is, but I want to be something. I'm going to be a star stage. And she used to explain to me, there's no such thing as a star stage. And I said, I don't care, but that's what I'm going to be. And I gave my first performance in India, as it was known then, called then, as the Queen in the Dance of the Seven Veils.
There was a part for a 4-year-old in that?
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, Pam, my sister, was 12, and she played Salome.
Of course.
And the king was only 11 years old, so we were all quite...
And you were the child bride. Child bride.
I didn't think so, no. I was the queen. And we had a record, an old record, 78, with the whole story on it. And my cue was the door opened, and just as the seventh veil is about to come off, which were our living room curtains. I think my sister draped herself in 7 little curtains. And as the 7th one was about to fall off, it said the door opened and the Queen came walking in.
But of course.
And that was
and
my
that was
cue.
it then, huh?
And it was a non-speaking role, so never underestimate the power of one. And all I had to do was walk in silence with great disdain, looking at the king and at Salome, and then kick my train. She taught me how to kick my train. And then I turned and walked all the way out again in stony silence. I don't know what the audience must have thought, but I was convinced that I was the Queen.
Don't you? The one good thing about growing up right now is that everything would be on video now. Do you know?
Yes,
your parents would be there taking video.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
Yes.
We would see that little kick your train.
Suppose, yes.
Is there a big difference between audiences in London and New York now?
I think so. I've done several plays in both places, so I can judge. I did Lost in Yonkers. I took over for Irene Worth here, and then I played it in London. And there's another play I've done in both places. The audiences here are much more generous to actors. They're much more warm-hearted. But that's part of the national characteristic, I think, you know. The British are much more reserved. I mean, that's not a myth. And they don't like to make a noise when they go to the theatre, and they don't like to hoot and holler and laugh out loud. You know, they keep rather quiet about it. Doesn't mean to say they don't appreciate it, but you don't get a lot of feedback. Not the same. And I think American actors must feel that when they go over there thinking, what's happened? But it's just that they don't.
And how sad does the amplification make you here now?
Oh, I hate it.
Can you believe it?
Yes, I hate it. Although, I have to say, I don't know, I hate to admit it, but I had to wear a body mic at the National Theatre in the Olivier Theatre. I insist on calling it the Olivier Theatre, actually, because Sir Laurence hated being called Olivier. He used to say it's not a French name, but he said, I can't stop people. Everybody calls me Laurence Olivier. But I remember years and years earlier, he was always Laurence Olivier. And so I call it the Olivier Theatre. And I was playing Hecuba, and I lost my voice for 2 or 3 performances, and the gods had these body mics because they had to reverberate. So I borrowed one of the gods' body mics, and it was a joy. Oh, it was a joy. I had this little body of my brutalized little grandson in my arms, and I had to sing, or not sing, but speak this wonderfully tender, intimate speech to him. And it was very hard doing it to this little broken body and reach the back row of the Olivier Theatre. It called for an awful lot of skill, and I'm not sure that I was up to it. But when I had this body mic, I could just talk to the baby and know that I could be heard up there. And I thought, I think this is rather nice. I like this. I could get addicted.
I don't want to hear
I know, it's a shame. But I do think actors should not be, I think they still should be trained to reach that top balcony, because there's nothing more wonderful than feeling that you're sending it out there. It really is, in a way, what the theatre's about. And they should have a taste of that. I think all young actors should be made to do that. And then if they want to, or if the theatre insists on it, then they can do the other thing. But
I can't believe that our time is off.
Is
over? Yes.
Oh,
Isn't that
no.
awful? I know. I have about 700 more questions to
goodness.
ask. But I have to say, thank you so much for being here, Rosemary Harris. And thank you for joining us. On behalf of the League of Professional Theatre Women, I'm Linda Weiner, and this has been Women in Theatre.